Big Sills! National Football Show. It is a huge Monday, and we welcome you in. What a telling weekend. Told us a lot of storylines. A ton of storylines. Saturday and Sunday, we learned a lot about the final four teams that are going to be playing in Championship Sunday this weekend. Bengals in Kansas City again in the AFC Championship. The Bengals are the hottest team in the league, along with the 49ers. It'll be 49ers and Eagles at Lincoln Financial. What a game this is shaping up to be. The Eagles took care of the New York Giants. Something and a couple things that we emphasized right out of the gate on Friday, making sure that when you went in and watched this game on Saturday, you understood. Listen, I did not believe that the Giants could go into Philadelphia and Lincoln Financial and do what they did against Minnesota. However, when I said 30-28, I made this proclamation based on Minnesota. We've been fooled all year by Minnesota. This was more about Minnesota. The Giants are not a good team. The Giants are not a good team. However, it's playoff football. It's a divisional foe, and the Eagles kicked the shit out of them like they weren't a good team. No shade. They beat up a bad team who was exposed Saturday night. And actually, I think it not only exposed the Giants, but it exposed the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings were completely exposed, both defense and offensively. If that Giant team can beat you in a playoff setting and you're at home, and then the Eagles tear that team apart like that, this was more about both those teams not being very good. And the Giants having a good moment. Okay? However, once again, this is no shade on Philly. They took apart a bad team and exposed them for who they are. Now, so people were on my Twitter page going, Shills, what happened to your boy Josh? Well, Josh Allen did play Joe Burrow in the defending AFC champions. The Eagles played a third team. Let's be fair here. The Giants, the Bengals. Little different. Not giving a off-ramp to Josh Allen. He did not play his best ball. But Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, relax. Relax. Oh, and by the way, Mr. High School, comparing Jalen Hurts to Michael Jordan, you might want to pump the brakes on that, son. Okay? Call him Michael Jordan when he wins the NFL championship. Before you give him kudos for beating a giant suck-ass team. Seriously. Okay? Let's do some takeaways, though. Let's do some takeaways. Then we'll get into the numbers. The Eagles were great in all places on Saturday night. The defense was exceptional. The Giants were exposed, and the Eagles exposed them. Jones is who we thought he was. Remember we said on Friday, can he do it again? I didn't believe he could. And the Eagles made sure of that. There was more heavy pressure on him. Gannon brought more heavy pressure, rightfully so. And remember what we also said on Friday. Getting Miles Sanders and Dallas Goedert going was going to run New York off the field. And remember I kept saying, keep an eye on third down. The Eagles were exceptional in all those. I thought Jalen Hurts was spectacular. I thought the defense, and most notably the defensive line, was spectacular. Hassan Reddick, This will be the first time I've said this. I couldn't have been more wrong about a football player in my life than this guy. He has been a wrecking machine. It's not so much that he gets sacks in games. He must miss 4 a game. It's arguably the greatest acquisition that the Eagles have had since Terrell Owens. I mean, he might be the best free agent that team has signed since Terrell Owens. He wreaks havoc every time. He was everywhere. I mean, he missed 4 sacks on top of the 2 he got. He was everywhere. Kudos, man. I mean, I couldn't have been more wrong about a guy. Now, again, if I'm wrong, the Cardinals are wrong, Carolina's wrong. The Eagles figured out how to use him. Remember that. Was it just Sil sitting here on the National Football Show? The Cardinals, who are in this business, missed him. Carolina Panthers missed him. Okay? Grades. Offensive line. I'm going to make this statement to you. That is the best offensive line that the NFL has seen since the Cowboy line with Emmett. The running game in Miles Sanders was special. Miles Sanders was special. The quarterback was efficient, smart, played exceptionally well. O-line, A. Running game, A. Quarterback, A. Wide receivers did a great job in the blocking game. Blocking downfield. It was a complete team effort against a shitty Giant team. Now remember, it's playoffs. It's playoffs, and they took care of it. They beat them like they were shitty. Good for them. That's exactly what you do. Watch this. Coaching. Outside of Mr. High School, an A. Mr. High School needs to rein it in, man. Act like you've been there, guy. The defense. The defensive line, A. I thought the whole team they just swallowed the Giants. They ate them alive. The linebackers did a great job. Barkley and the receivers and all those guys were held at bay. It wasn't a game. The secondary played exceptional. James Bradbury, there is no question James Bradbury got his justice. Okay? Got his justice. The way they rushed the passer, you get an A. They really did a great job. Really did a great job. It was an A effort across the board. From the coin flip, when that thing was 14-0, that game was over. They had no chance. And the Eagles inflicted their will so much on them that it was no question that game, even when they scored that stupid 7 points, it was like, okay, so and right. What do you take away from a game like that when you play an inferior opponent and you've got an opponent that's pretty much your equal coming into the NFC Championship game? Nothing really. What you do is you're taking care of business. That's the same team you beat on week 14. Not a very good team. They caught a little fight. Remember, everyone keeps saying the Giants are hot. They were 3-5-1 coming into the postseason. I think they had a hot moment. Okay? A hot moment in Minneapolis. I'm going to get to all your takes here in a minute, I promise. in the end of the day, they took care of Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. Okay? On to the NFC title game against a very good San Francisco 49er team. They're equal, except for one thing. Okay? Except for one thing. I think Jalen is the difference in that game. Hen says, I would have liked more of a challenge. No, you wouldn't. You're in the playoffs. That was a perfect way to put an inferior opponent away. It was 60 minutes of football. By the way, one of the most important things that came out of that game, how great Lane Johnson looked. Of all the question marks going into that ball game, the way Lane played, I'm telling you, I keep giving Trent Williams a lot of love, and rightfully so. Okay, Micah Parsons wanted no part of him. Micah Parsons wanted no part of Trent Williams. But Lane is dominant, man. He is a dominant football player that played exceptional. I'll say this to you. Lane Johnson may be the greatest offensive lineman the Philadelphia Eagles have ever produced. He is a special ball player. The center's right there. And that's the thing with this very gifted O-line. That O-line is gifted. It's a gifted, talented, from the coach on down, man. That offensive line is special. It's Cowboy special, and I mean the Emmett Cowboys, where you're talking about hogs and shit like that. And seasoned dudes. There's all-stars everywhere on that offensive line. There's all-stars everywhere. The two tackles, the guards, the center, shit, the tight end. You've got 6 guys on that front that all are as a unit. It's the best offensive line. I mean, if I had to pick 3 lines in the last 50 years of football, and I think they're better than the 17 line. I think they're a more gifted and talented offensive line than your 2017 line. I mean, just exceptional. And even though the Giants the 2 tackles were nullified. They were nullified. And they were playing, Williams and Lawrence were playing good ball coming into that game. Okay? They did an exceptional job. That offensive line. And Miles tenderizing the linebackers and the secondary. Man, those were hard-earned, gaping holes, 5 yards a pop, putting Giant defenders on their backs. Exceptional. Plain out exceptional. Jalen Hurts. Let's go by the numbers here. 16 of 24, 154 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. What does that tell you? You know what that tells you? They kicked their ass so bad, they didn't really have to overperform. That 154 yards passing felt like 454 yards, didn't it? They were all timely plays. They were all timely plays and big chunk yards to keep the sticks moving. I don't really think in any of the RPOs, I don't think he made a bad call in any one of them. I think he ran the perfect RPO game. And I'm going to say this again to you. I'm not sure I've seen a quarterback who was in an RPO system that runs it any better. That runs it any better. See what Sean says? You trashed Jalen all week last week for not having a playoff win. But that's facts, Sean. So what? He's changed his resume. Sean, don't you get it? He had no resume. He changed it, not me. There's no narrative here. He changed his resume on Saturday with a win. Not me. I don't put an opinion out unless someone is who they are. He's changed it. It's not me changing. Jalen changed. He got a win. Good for him. That's what playoff resumes are for. I told you all last week, legacies are built in the postseason, not by me, by your actions. Big Sil's not, what, dude, once again, mad? I swear to you, I get mad at nothing. I get mad at nothing. But you make it sound like I changed my opinion on something. No, Jalen won a football game. That's what changed. Not me. I have to talk about truth, not what I want to talk about. 38-7. Felt like 68-7. First downs, 26-13. Here's the one of the critical statistics I told you on Friday to keep an eye on. Third down, 10 of 14. Remember? I told you the Eagles are fourth in the NFL in third down. That's exceptional, 10 of 14. One of the critical reasons that you didn't need a lot in the passing game. Held the Giants 5 of 13. DBs and the front sevens showed up. Time of possession. Had the ball a full 11 minutes. More than New York. 69-52. You held the Giants to 52 plays. You're going to kill anybody you're in. Total yards, 416 to 227. And rushing. 268 yards rushing on something like 44 attempts. Perfectly done. Run New York off the board. That's exactly what they did. Remember what I said also on Friday. Run them off the board and run them off the field. Own the time of possession, third down, and run the ball. That's exactly what they did. Goddard was exceptional in the game. I mean, there was no question. Exceptional in the game. Gainwell had 12 carries for 112 yards, too, added to that. I thought the whole thing was a great show. They did a great job at putting it together and pushing themselves now into the NFC Championship game. 268 yards rushing is getting back your identity and being a power team. I'll tell you something, man. Having Lane Johnson on that field, you feel the difference. You feel the difference. You feel it. You feel it. He's the heart and soul of that team. He's the heart and soul. Lane Johnson's the heart and soul of that football team. It was a great game, and much respect, Sills, for giving us props. GT, the Giants are not good, and you made them know that. You see, the Giants and a lot of the media people, I fell into it not because of New York, GT. I fell into it because I didn't get a handle, and a good enough handle. Get this. I didn't get a good enough handle on Minnesota. Now I do. Minnesota's frauds. That record they have, would it shock you if that team was 7-10 last year? I don't think so. Would it shock you if they were 7-10? You're like this, man. Okay? 7-10. You're like, you're like, and I kept saying, I don't believe New York is going to go into Lincoln Financial on Saturday night and do what they did in Minneapolis to the Eagles. But I still got caught in it, and I went 30-28 Eagles. Even Merrill Reese during the broadcast thought it'd be closer. But see, here's the thing. It's not shade on Philly. When I say you beat up a shitty team, the Giants didn't feel that way coming in. But you made them realize that when they got on the bus to go to the airport, they knew it. Man, we're nowhere near this. We got a long way to go in the offseason. You made the Giants realize how much work they need in the offseason to get into a conversation with you guys. Okay? When you walk off the field as a member of the New York Giants, okay, when you walk, you must have walked off going, God dang, there's not a weakness on that Eagle team, especially when everybody's hitting on all. And I'll tell you this, they looked healthy. That was another key that I wanted to see. Hurts looked healthy. Lane played exceptional football injured. Boy, I'll tell you. I give him a ton of accolades, man. Man, Lane Johnson's a great ball player. You know, you have very few ball players sometimes in your organization's history that you could circle back and just go like this. This guy's exceptional. Lane Johnson's the greatest offensive lineman in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. And I could say that with complete ease. He's the best. He's the best. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame guy. And get this, man. He's doing this all from the right tackle position. Always considered the lesser of the two. Shit. That's the power position on the Eagle offense for some reason. It's not Mailata. Mailata's actually tackle number 2. And he ain't bad. I thought he had an exceptional game as well. Dude, that line is to be revered. I pray to God how we could keep that thing. Yes. Now, I think Lane's better than Kelsey and Peters. I do. Yes. And I think Jason Peters is a Hall of Fame player. Okay? I think Jason Peters is a Hall of Fame football player, and I think he's going into Canton too. Lane's better. Okay? Lane's exceptional. It's exceptional. Exceptional. And the way he moved in that game, you could never tell this guy's got a very significant injury. And again, I want to circle back on Hassan. Wow. He's a force. You know, guys, I can't think of anybody in pro football history at 6'1", 230 that gets around the horn like him. I can't think of one. I tried to think of Terrell Suggs. Suggs was like 255 and 6'2". And TJ Watt is 6'4". This guy's 6'1". I'm trying. I don't know if there's ever been. He's like a Swiss Army knife. I'm not sure I've ever seen a guy at 6'1", 230 rush the passer like that. And dude, his motor, I don't know, man. It was since when they got Sue and Joseph, he's been a different ball player. He's been a different ball player. Just a different player, man. Man. And he gets after the guy. He must have missed. Daniel Jones got away with his life. I mean, there must have been 3 or 4 other times he could have had 4 sacks. Good grief. And by the way, you know, some of you, when you were saying Sills, he outplayed Micah Parsons this year. You're right. This guy should have finished second in the Defensive Player of the Year award. He should have. He should have finished second. I don't think there's another defensive football player in the NFL this year that has had a more impactful year. And you know what's crazy about it? Most of the time, you don't see guys do this come from one team. Dude, J.J. Watt didn't make that gigantic of an impact on Arizona. Now he's a little bit up there in age. But this kid, man, dude, this is the best. This is the best free agent signing since Terrell Owens. Getting Hassan Reddick on that team. Dude, this might make you pause in the draft on that going after an edge rusher And it might make it even easier now for you to go after a corner in the upcoming April draft. I mean, he's been exceptional. He's been exceptional. I promise I'm going to get to all your takes. You know, we go back and forth. If you guys have some takes, just hang in there a little bit. I promise we're going to get to all the games, all the weekend games too. We're going to take a look at them all here in a second here. But, and again, I didn't want to come out here and go, the Giants suck. They did. They did and they do. But the Eagles played them like that. Dude, you're not that good. Here's why. 38-7. They made them realize who they were. Dude, that's called inflicting your will. That's called doing this. I don't care what the national media told you guys. I don't give a shit what they told you. You're this team. You're the week 14 team. You're not this team coming into this thing. You know, sometimes we get caught up in a moment. The Giants had a great moment. But once again, this comes back more to, man, Minnesota was such a fraud this year. They were so fraudulent. The Eagles knew it. Man, this team ain't going to be with us from the get-go. From the get-go. Seriously, when they went down the field, the Eagles, in the first drive of the game, I went, man, this thing's over. Okay? This thing's over. And they put it to him. They put it to him. Exceptional. Jalen Hurts now. Sirianni once again letting his high school emotions get carried away. I don't like coaches like that. And don't give me shit about being genuine. Whatever, dude. Most of the great coaches keep their poise and keep their composure for a reason. Let the players be emotional. You want your players emotional. I don't need my coach being a cheerleader. Mr. High School. Okay? Act like you've been there, guy. You look like a child. Okay? You look like a child. A child. You got an exceptional team. Act like it. He's Michael Jordan. I mean, dude, he's not Michael Jordan. Let him win a championship. Then you can make your comparisons to Michael Jordan. You beat the Giants. Relax. Okay? This is nothing on Jalen. It's about Mr. High School. Mr. High School. Guy looks like a dope when he does that. I didn't think it was, well, you know, he's redeemed. You know, it's his quality. He looks like a high school cheerleader when he does that. Those guys don't need to be motivated. They get motivated every Tuesday when their paycheck hits their bank account. And when you get a win. Relax. I thought Jalen was great in the ball game. I thought he handled himself well. I thought he slid well. I thought he did everything to protect himself. They did everything they needed to do to put that team to sleep. And they put that team to sleep. Okay? They did. Jonathan Gannon, I can't believe what I was witnessing, but it was a game plan to pressure Daniel Jones. And they pressured him. And they did a great job at keeping containment. I can't remember, and hey, maybe you guys did, but I don't remember Daniel Jones breaking out in the perimeter like he did against Minnesota. Minnesota couldn't defend anything. They kept him hemmed in. They couldn't get any running game going, and that was pretty much the end of the game. Gannon really called a great game. I know. He called a great game because he pressured. He played press coverage on those wide receivers. They couldn't get off the line of scrimmage, and they brought games on the perimeter. They pass rushed exceptionally well. They had no chance. The Giants were fighting a football team. They were fighting a football team with one hand tied behind their back. That's what it looked like. And the Giants had no answers. All right. Let's go on to this topic here. And by the way, I want to say this also about Hurts. Remember last week I said Jalen Hurts needed a Philly moment. That's a Philly moment. That's a Philly moment for him. That's his best moment as a ball player in Philadelphia, winning that playoff game. 1 down, 2 to go. This is what legacies are built. This is when your place in Philadelphia sports history will be cemented. 1 down, 2 to go. You climbed 1 hurdle. Now you've got another hurdle. It's called the San Francisco 49ers. Okay? That's what I call a Philly moment. Big-time playoff win. Exceptional effort. Putting the Giants away. Hey, Sills, watch this. If I were an Eagle fan or I were the Eagles and I'm sitting there going, the Giants aren't good, the Eagles should say this to me. I know. That's why we killed them. Right. That's not a slap. That's taking care of business. Okay? Taking care of business. Okay? See Richie here? This is what Richie says. Who do the Bills play next week? You're like, dude, I don't think Josh Allen losing to Joe Burrow, who was in the Super Bowl last year and the AFC champions, compares to anything you played on Saturday. You played a shit bag Giant team. Buffalo was 14-3 going into that game. You played an overrated football team. And you put them away. No comparison. Watch this. Joe Burrow beat Josh Allen. Okay? Jalen beat Daniel Jones. Congratulations. Which is the lesser of the efforts? Okay? You beat Jones. Burrow was exceptional. Burrow's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. He is. He's the best. He's better than Mahomes. He's better than Mahomes. All right. Let's get over to this topic. This NFC Championship game, in my opinion, it matches everything up right across the board. Who do you think has the better running back? San Francisco or Philly? I say the Niners. I say McCaffrey is special. I think Miles is great. Kenneth Gainwell's not going to do what he did against the Niner defense. That's not going to happen. You're not going to run the ball for 268 yards on the Niners. And the Niners aren't going to do that also to the Eagles. Where is the difference? Wide receivers. Debo is AJ. The other kid on the other side of the 49ers. I don't believe he's Devonta. I think Kittle and Goddard are the same. Trent Williams and Lane are the same. Kelsey, I do believe the Eagles have the better O-line. And that's saying something because I think that O-line in San Francisco is a superior O-line. It's just not the Philadelphia Eagles O-line. Okay? So everything pretty much right across the board. I'm going to get to the quarterbacks at the end here. The defense. I think the 49ers have more stars than the Philadelphia Eagles. However, as a unit, I'll take Jalen. You can have your guy. Fantastic. Me too. I have no problem saying that. Anton, you can have Jalen. I'll never build my team around a dual threat quarterback. As long as I live, That's not happening. He won't be around long. He won't. I'm not spending. And if you're going to pay Jalen Hurts $40 million, you better write a check in Cincinnati for Joe Burrow for $70 million. 70. Okay? The linebacking core in San Francisco superior to the Eagles. Hassan Reddick is not Joey Bosa, but he's awful good. The secondary, I would favor San Francisco. I'll tell you, man, I personally think that you could flip a coin on the defenses. Shane, I like it safe to say that Burrow and Allen conversation in convo, it's Mahomes and Burrow, then everybody else. He did lose to Joe Burrow. He didn't lose to Daniel Jones in a divisional game. He lost to one of the elite guys. Daniel Jones is not elite. Once again, the Eagles have not played an elite quarterback all year. And they won't until they get to the Super Bowl. You have not played. Brock Purdy's not elite. Daniel Jones is not elite. It's not your fault, but you haven't played an elite quarterback all year long. Sure, Aaron Rodgers. Sure. Where's the difference in this NFC title game on Sunday? Where's the advantage that Philly has? It's not in coaching. Kyle Shanahan has been to Super Bowls. Kyle Shanahan is now in his third NFC championship game in 4 years. Okay? It's surely not coaching. And the D coordinator that San Francisco has is going to get a head coaching job. Trevor Lawrence is elite. They almost beat that Chiefs team. I'm building my team around Trevor Lawrence. Got no problem saying that. Josh Allen's dual threat. Josh Allen's a little reckless with the football, but he's a better talent than Jalen. I don't care what you say. It's not a very good effort. It was a poor game. He's not better. You played a shitbag Giant team. The Bengals were on fire in that game. They are the defending AFC champs, dudes. They're the defending AFC champs. Hey, Tone, I missed that last super chat. I missed the last super chat. I want to make sure because he paid $5. I want to make sure I get it out there. Josh Allen's dual threat. What are you watching? Allen's a little better than Jones. What a stupid ass comment. Yeah. Whatever. You keep your guy. Hey, we'll agree to disagree. You keep your guy. It's not that he lost. It's how he lost. He folded, got embarrassed on his home field, and looked terribly overrated. Dig screaming at him. Yeah, that whole team unraveled. Sure did. Bengals had a lot to do with that. Bengals were the most experienced team in that game. I'll tell you this too, man. The Buffalo Bills had no answers. They had absolutely no answers for Joe Burrow. No answers. No answers. Yeah, no. And I'll tell you what, you guys got a hell of a running attack. Really a great running attack. Your quarterback's one of the better running backs in the league. Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell. It's a heck of a running back tandem or threesome. It's great. Okay? It's fantastic. You got a boatload of great running backs, including the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. He's a great running back. The difference in this game on Sunday, to me, does come down to Jalen. versus Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy has been a good story. I think it's an amazing story, but I think it also tells you how many times we miss on the evaluation of quarterback. Jalen Hurts and Purdy are the greatest examples of this. Jalen Hurts is a second-round quarterback, and Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, was the last player taken in this draft. Think about that for a minute. Okay? Think about that. And you got other quarterbacks who have been drafted in the first round. Josh Rosen, Kyler Murray, all the rest of these guys. You put all these heavy price tags on these guys, and what is the one thing you can't and you always miss when it comes to a guy like Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy? You know what it is? It's that it factor. It's that leadership quality. I don't think it's valued enough in the evaluation that you can get a team. I got to tell you this, man. Kyle Shanahan has done the best coaching job of anybody this year. Okay? That sucks out loud. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Anyway, dude, they went from Trey Lance. They went to, and for the record, I know people were going like this. Well, Sills, they lost to the Bears and they lost to Denver. Take a look at the record after they got Christian McCaffrey. And tell me what that record is when they got McCaffrey moving forward. That 49er team has been a completely different team since the emergence of having Christian McCaffrey in that offensive attack. It's been completely different. That's not the same team. That's not the same team. And Purdy has played a lot like Garoppolo. Dude, Kyle Shanahan, 3 different quarterbacks. 3. Not Wentz and Foles. 3 different quarterbacks. Seals thinks he's a comedian calling Jalen a running back. No. He threw the ball 24 times. He was more effective running it. I wouldn't hang my hat at 154 yards passing and say they won the game because they threw the ball. They won the game because they ran the ball for 268 yards. 268. Okay? Look at this right here. So Joshua goes, oh, congratulations, you beat the Raiders by 3. Yeah, and you got beat by the Saints. At least the Niners down the stretch didn't get beat by an under 500 team. At least they didn't get beat by an under 500 team. The Eagles did. And by the way, one of the question marks going into that game this past Saturday was the health factor. The Eagles answered all of that when it came to health. They answered all of it. Okay? Answered all of it. All of it. Once again, guys, if you want to pay Jalen Hurts $40 million, have at it. Not me. It's just a difference of opinion. Take your guys and go. I'm going to go with the traditional drop back guys. Congratulations. You can keep with your guys that won't last long. It's okay. Pay your dual threat guy $50 million. Go right ahead. No issue. He'll be around 3 years. They never last. Shit, he got hurt this year. My opinion's wrong, Richie said. He's been hurt 2 years in a row. What are you talking about? Anyway, I said this, I do think the difference in this game is the quarterback. I do. I think the difference is the quarterback. And that's why I think the line is either 2.5 or 1. 2.5, 1. Kelly Green goes, Burrow's had 2 surgeries. Yeah, but the Burrow doesn't run. He's a pocket passer. As long as that shoulder's not injured, Joe Burrow will be just fine. He doesn't rely on his wheels. Your guy does. Your running quarterback does. 268 on the ground is exceptional. 268. Wow. It's the most rushing attempts since 1939 or 49 or whatever it was. Man, you got to pull 1940 stats out to pull out a rushing a game like that. That's an old school 1980s win right there, boy. 44 rushing attempts. Man, that's like old school, like 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of stuff. Really entertaining ball. I'm sure the owner up there is going 44 attempts running the ball. And these other guys are throwing it like Burrow's throwing it in the snow. Burrow, how many times did – hey, Tone, tell me how many passes Joe Burrow had in a blizzard. I mean, he must have threw the ball 40 times in that thing. It was a blizzard. It's just a matter of time before Burrow. You mean it's just a matter of time before your boy gets hurt? Dual threat always does. 36 attempts? That's a little lower than I thought. They ran the ball well against Buffalo, too. 3 yards in a cloud of dust, man. That's that high-powered. Allen threw it 42 times. They got to get him a running back, dog, and he's got to protect the ball better. Buffalo needs a back. Miles Sanders would fit perfect up there. Okay? Perfect. Burrow was special. What a special player. Special. We'll take a look. Hey, divisional rounds are set. Oh, yeah, I gotta do the tier quarterbacks, too. This came from Bledsoe, the top tier quarterbacks, tier 1 and tier 2. This comes from Bledsoe. And the rankings, this is from the National Football League, too, on who the tier 1 and tier 2 quarterbacks are. You think Jalen's a tier 1 quarterback in the NFL eyes? Do you think? Be very interesting. I thought the Jags are going to be a football team that's going to be around a long time. They're going to be around a long time. We'll get to that. Let's get to some of your takes over here, right? Hurt's still winning games, so the hate doesn't equate. What hate? I have no hate. I picked you guys to get to the Super Bowl. What hate? I'm not hating on him. You keep a dual threat guy. I don't go there. That's all. We agree to disagree, my friend. Sills, since your Super Bowl pick of the Bills was wrong, who do you have winning it now? I have to think about more now. I do. I'll have to think about it. Let's see. Sills broke up with Josh Allen for Burrow now. No. I'd still take Josh Allen. Josh Allen's the third best quarterback in the league. Let's see. You only pull stats that favor your argument. Well, which one did you? Which stat was that? 16 of 24, 154. The 268. The running the ball was the difference in this ball game against the Giants. It wasn't the 154 throwing the ball. Throwing the ball had no real impact, really. It was more about 268 on the ground. Second play of the game was a 40-yard pass to Smith. Yeah, pretty much ended the passing night after that. Pretty much ended it. And the rest of it was just domination at the point of attack. Okay? Let's take a look at the games on the weekend. And most notably, the 49ers against the Cowboys, the opponent the Eagles will play on Saturday. Purdy, 214. Kittle, 5 catches for 95. He's special, too. 19 to 12. I tell you this about the Cowboys. I can't believe the Cowboy defense actually showed up. Okay? I can't believe they actually showed up. That was a heck of an effort by them to keep that offense at bay like that. Dak Prescott, if the Dallas Cowboys are ever going to do anything, they need to move off him, in my opinion. They completely need to move off him. if they're going to want to win. Dak can't win, man. There's a $42 million contract that will not pan out. Dak will never win a Super Bowl in Dallas. It's time to move on. Dude, as much as Dak, look, and you got empty calorie comments by the Cowboys beating the Buccaneers. Okay? The Cowboys went in with fool's gold thinking the same way Minnesota was a fool's gold for the Giants. They played against a team that was better and more dominant than them, and they beat them up. It's time to move on. Dak Prescott is not going to win championships in Dallas. And Jerry knows that. And get this, Mike McCarthy, whether Mike McCarthy's safe or not, has no bearing. Jerry Jones is the front man of that team. So if you put another coach in there, it doesn't matter. I think the 49ers were lucky. Now, again, the Cowboys have beaten the Eagles this year. So, I mean, that's one of the things that Dallas can say is that they have beaten Philly. And Philly can't go like this. Well, that was without Jalen. Well, you beat the Cowboys without Dak, too. That's a fact. Okay? You didn't beat that team. You have not beaten Dak, really. Dak's like 8-1 versus Philly. Okay? So you beat Cooper Rush. And again, Dallas can't sit around crowing around too going, well, we beat the Eagles. Well, you know what? They had Gardner Minshew in the room. Hurts a top 5 quarterback? Absolutely not. How do you feel about, no. Give Dak an extension. Dude, time to move on. Time to move on from Dak Prescott. I thought the 49ers, once again, thought they played hard, man. Joey Bosa, or excuse me, Nick Bosa. I cannot wait to watch Bosa versus Lane. That is going to be an epic battle. I cannot wait to watch this. I cannot wait to watch this. Cannot wait to watch it. I think it's going to be exceptional. Bengals dominated the Bills in that ball game. Bro, 242. They had no answers for him. Mixon 105 on the ground. Boys, he turned out to be a superstar. The Jags and Chiefs. Mahomes now. Here's one thing I'll say about Patrick Mahomes playing this weekend against the Bengals in the AFC Championship game. One thing is for sure. Okay? Patrick Mahomes is going to play hurt. Lamar Jackson would never. Lamar Jackson would never. That's a shame. There's the difference right there in the two guys. Patrick's playing. He's playing in the AFC title game. Lamar's not. He's making a business decision. Put a brace on and let's go. Not him. Dual threat. Not him. Dual threat. What happened to that guy? Tone's right. Well, Tone brings up one of the most important things about Lamar. One guy has his money, the other guy doesn't. Should have took care of your business then in the offseason. And that's on both parties. That's on both parties. You put business ahead of team. Both the Ravens and the player. The Ravens and the player put business ahead of the team. And you got what you deserved. Okay? Both of you got what you deserve. You both got what you deserve. Well, one guy's got his money. Tone's correct. The other guy doesn't. Well, that's on both the Ravens and Steve Biscotti and Lamar Jackson. You put business over your teammates, and you having to put stiffs out there and play is on both of you. You should both be ashamed. And that's why, again, both of you are at fault here when you're playing lesser players. They created an absolute dumpster fire in Baltimore with that whole decision. It was a dumpster fire. They created that. A complete dumpster fire. And that's where you are. Baltimore will never be in a position of a championship with Lamar Jackson. You're just not. Misses too many games. There's too many business decisions that are being made. And in my opinion, I think that ship has sailed. Now they want to try to get together and they want to try to whatever, dude. I'm over it. I'm over it. And if Cincinnati's smart, start addressing this and start addressing if the hey, by the way, D, thank you. By the way, Arthur, so like, Huck, you know, are you guys feeling good? Hey, Yale, is everybody feeling good about Jalen? How come the Eagles don't come out and go, this guy here, man, he's calling him Michael Jordan, but yet, you know what they won't say? Whether or not he's the quarterback of the future or that they've started contract negotiations with him. Everyone else that was in that 2020 draft, even the Chargers came out and said this, no, because somebody in the LA media asked Tom Telesco, have you started contract conversations with Justin Herbert? And they went, no, we haven't yet. We're going to start picking that up here in the next couple weeks. Shit, at least some teams are being asked a question about their 2020 quarterbacks. Only place that they're not is in Philly. Why? He had a Philly moment. The kid wins a playoff game. Wouldn't it be this week that you would say this going into an NFC title game? Jalen Hurts is going to be the player that we've wanted here for years. And we're going to start contract negotiations in the offseason, and we're going to start getting it going here. Shit, Cincinnati's already started. Cincinnati brought it up again today. Cincinnati brought it up again today. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure Joe Burrow retires a Bengal. When do you guys do that? I love my dual threat guy so much. Howie doesn't make any comments. He loves talking about his roster. It's coming. Okay. When's that? When they wait and see if he wins the NFC title game? I'm just curious. Yale goes, let's see how it plays out. Yale, Justin Herbert, they addressed it in Los Angeles on Friday. Last Wednesday, the Bengals addressed it. Okay? Two guys that were taken in that draft in 20. January 9th was the first time, as I said last week, teams could start. What do you mean, Jay, relax? Shit, man, on my Twitter page, I added Nicole over at Clutch. You know what she told me? They haven't reached out yet. Nicole from Clutch Sports. Go over to my Twitter page. They haven't reached out to them yet. Whoa, wait a minute. Look at what Green says. Focusing on the Super Bowl. What? They're not focusing on their second Super Bowl appearance in Cincinnati? What? What mean? What? You can't do both? This is pro sports. This ain't college. We're worried about the national title game. Not running out of stuff. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. When are you going to address this? Or are you going to wait till the offseason? Hey, at least the Chargers went like this. No, we haven't. At least somebody had the balls to ask them. At least somebody asked them the question. Eagle goes, you're not making any sense. Okay, I'll make it very clear to you. On January 9th, when the calendar turned, every quarterback, are you following me, Eagle? Just in case you're not. Every player that was a player drafted that was a quarterback in the 2020 draft, you could begin negotiations if you have a year remaining on your contract from your rookie contract where you could begin negotiations. Okay? All right? Anton goes, Nicole Lynn already tweeted about a Brinks truck. That doesn't mean the Eagles have contacted her because she put a picture up. That's her opinion on what it's going to cost the Eagles is a Brinks truck. Get ready. Hey, Tone, this going to get a little bumpy. I hope he wins the Super Bowl. I can't wait to see the Eagles and what they're going to pay this guy. I cannot wait. Holy cow. I cannot wait to see what they're going to pay this guy. Holy cow. Has the media done their job and asked the... No. They haven't in Philly. No one's asked it. They asked it in Los Angeles. They asked it in Cincinnati. But they haven't asked it with Hurts yet. $55 million for Jalen. You better... Hey, the Joe Burrow's going to make $100 million. No, Spencer, it's not a bad... I cannot wait. Oh. Once you pay this guy, that team will not... That old line's gone. Once you pay that, you can't keep all your guys. Can't keep them. Oh, man. $45 million? Whew, I can't wait. So when's this conversation starting? All right. Hour 2 coming up. Let me do this. We're going to go more in depth on the divisional games. Gary Cobb from Fox 29 is going to join us at the bottom of the hour, get his take on what he saw. Also, some more on what we saw in that Giants and the Eagles game. I got to tell you, man, no question about it. You know, Purdy and Hurts had played a game against one another in college. Please hit the like button. Hour 2, Gary Cobb from Fox 29. Keep